This has to be one of the most unworthy cars in the entire game. It's so bad, it's not even worth a review, but I'm going to shut my eyes to its misdeeds just for today and give you a little rundown on why should you stay away from this backstabber. Let's start with the most annoying aspect of the car, power. Yeah, if only I could call that a power. I mean, just look at this decimal value. 22 horsepower, holy Moses. That barely qualifies as a number, let alone power. What a joke. If you're having a hard time digesting key cars or K cars, whatever you call them, I don't care. Just wait until you drive this thing. It will drive you mad, I promise. I know this is a prominent classic car with a place in history and all that. But that won't mean anything to a sucker who decides to acknowledge this car and buy it, because all he'll be facing is the problems of highest magnitude from the very first day of ownership. There's more bad about this car than just the speed at which it moves, or crawls to be more realistic, but the speed is definitely the biggest and most obvious problem. According to PD, it takes more than 30 seconds to reach 40 miles. 30 long seconds, that's really like an eternity if anything. If that doesn't suck, I don't know what does. If that's the speed of the car in real life, can you just imagine how much it will take to hit 40 miles in the game? Well, I can, and believe me, it's not for the faint-hearted. Even on smallest tracks, such as Motorland or Automarine Mini, even on these tracks you feel like you're on test course. Yeah, just try to imagine that. Driving the 500R on test course. Man, I'm already getting sick. Because the car is so slow, many players will try to seek salvation in tune-ups from the tuning shop. But this is where the agony doesn't stop. Instead, it only gets worse as you face another problem. Neither of the power-ups do anything but laugh in your face. Can you imagine spending like hundreds, no, thousands of dollars just to get like 1 horsepower, 2 at best? You think that's not possible? Well, play some of Gran Turismo and you will see it is indeed possible. Some parts actually dare to increase the car's pathetic power in decimals. So you can't even see the change in that case, let alone feel it. I think you will have to be a frigging cyborg to do that, a crazy ass machine, you know? The only useful piece of kit is the turbocharger, but it isn't very cheap and it causes very steep inclination of power delivery. So, what do you do when you get one? Buy more parts, obviously, and spend more credits. A better gearbox is definitely mandatory. It will help you tighten those gears a little bit and hopefully make gear changing faster. And while you're there, you might as well install all other available accessories to help the engine spin faster. You really have to throw in everything you got to make the car at least acceptable for racing. If that's even possible to do, which I really doubt. Wanna hear the funniest part? Being a sub 10 grand car, you can actually buy this thing on your first day. Yes, imagine that instead of buying a Supra or MX-5, you gift yourself with a shiny, brand new 500R. There's only one little problem in this. Nobody's going to do such a thing. And you know why? Because we all know it sucks, that's why. Besides, did they even realize you will end up stuck if you do that? Like, there's no way to make any career progress whatsoever until you get enough money to buy yourself that boost. And it is clearly you won't be able to do that with the 500R. Why? Because you can't complete any race without inhaling smoke and dust particles from opponents that are simply walking past you, like they're not even trying to beat you. It's just happening. And why is this a new car anyway? For holy son of a gun, why does this have to be listed as a new car? That's the case with all classic cars in this game. If the dealership they belong to doesn't have used car shop, they're simply listed as new cars alongside all other cars that are actually new. So, I guess the price of the 500R in the game was the price of the car when it was new, like back in 1972 perhaps? Or maybe that was the price in 1999 when the game was out in release. Who knows? Who cares? I certainly don't. Then I tried the 500 Cup. You know, the one make race where you're supposed to drive against cars of your level. But even then, all I faced was failure and embarrassment. Why is that you can't do anything without a boost at your side? And why I'm racing against modern 500 models anyway? Can somebody explain this? Because I don't get it. One thing they did nail is the holding, I give it that. That rear axle, however tiny it may be, is actually quite playful. It slides only when you release the throttle, but even then the amount of slide you get depends on whether the front axle grips the road at the moment or not. The entire show is actually similar to how midship cars behave, but with higher level of sensitivity to your inputs because of the RR layout, whatever, I don't care, and really short wheelbase. I have also driven this car in Gran Turismo 4, but let me tell you something, I wish I haven't. Here you can choose between three models, the F, L and R. Okay, why? Why three models? Why the entire alphabet of the 500 thing? You're going to pick the best anyway, so what's the point? Are you going to buy them all just so that you can fill the slots in your garage or seldomly take them out for a drive they don't even want to take part in? Well, good luck with that, but I have better things to do with my life. Like trying to figure out why didn't they bring back the 501 make cup from Gran Turismo 2, given you're already having more than one of these cars, so it's kinda obvious a dedicated race would be a reasonable thing to do, right? They took away like the only chance for these cars to prove themselves and to convince us who bought them that we weren't donkeys when we decided to spend like entire fortune to make these bastards moving. To make things even more catastrophic, as they weren't enough already, there are very few races where this thing could actually compete and win something. At least in Gran Turismo 2 you had far higher chances. And the holding is far from enjoyable, it is too predictable. Unless you're driving on the comfort tires or on snowy surface, you're never going to experience anything like in Gran Turismo 2. And that's it, that's all I can take, I'm giving up. I'm sure some wicked GT magician will be able to say more about this car, or maybe even turn it into something decent. But not without running a fall of his wallet first, trust me on that. You will think that after investing so much money into it, it will pay you back in a way only classic cars can do. But no, that never happens. And this is why I'm not happy with the car. It should offer more in return than it does. I cannot accept this, sorry, but even if you beat me, I won't accept it. Goodbye.